We seem to be so bent on transcending ourselves, our intellectual ignorance, or which I think is the same, our emotional immaturity. And even if we think we are detached from ignorance and emotional immaturity in our ways of thinking, we are still thinking and have dispositions that reveal our attachments. And attachments always come with dispositions and ignorances, so they are never pure. And for example, if someone denies out of hand every theory or every idea and rejects those as fictions merely, he's still attached to this idea, to this rejection of other ideas. This is just a way of thinking, another way of thinking, another way of disposition. Because I am not a mere potentiality, I am an actuality, or maybe an actual potentiality, but still actual. Actual, which means I am grounded. I have to be grounded. I am grounded in a body, in an environment, in a brain, and that brain has to be fed in order it to be efficient. If I want my brain to work, it has to work properly, it has to be efficient, it has to be fed, it has to remain coherent, consistent, in order to allow the body to feed it. So it is grounded, it has to be grounded. And the mind is also grounded, which is not simply the brain. The mind is, I think, is a social phenomenon that is socially created, that also has to be fed, if not with physical food, but still with virtual food like values and identity. In a sense, its food is identity. The mind is grounded in identity. So I am always grounded. I have to be grounded. I have to have a sense of coherence, identity, a need to belong, to be in company, to be accompanied, to stand in a constellation. Even when I am alone, I keep myself company. I talk to myself. Or, as in the film Cast Away, I think, with Tom Hanks, there is Wilson, his friend, his company. And these attachments make us vulnerable. They entangle our emotions, our notions, and make us exquisitely fragile, which is to say, human. And even if these dislocations or sufferings that result from the dislocations of our attachments, of our grounding, even if these make us stronger or more efficient later, I still dread the dire, or at least the cumbersome, consequences that my emotional and conceptual attachments can dispose me to. But let me read a passage from Emerson. I'm not particularly comfortable with these absolute terms, but I like this passage. So, he who knows that power is inborn, that he is weak because he has looked for good out of him and elsewhere, and so perceiving, throws himself unhesitatingly on his thought, instantly rights himself, stands in the erect position, commands his limbs, works miracles, just as a man who stands on his feet is stronger than a man who stands on his head. So use all that is called fortune. Most men gamble with her, and gain all, and lose all, as her wheel rolls. But do thou leave as unlawful these winnings, and deal with cause and effect, the chancellors of God. In the will work and acquire, and thou hast chained the wheel of chance, and shall sit hereafter out of fear from her rotations. A political victory, a rise of rents, the recovery of your sick, or the return of your absent friend, or some other favorable event, raises your spirits, and you think good days are preparing for you. Do not believe it. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles.